So welcome to our December series of just sort of beginning to craft what we want in the new year and what we want for our own personal evolution in this new year as it's quickly approaching. And I think it's important to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. There's a lot of discussion around New Year's resolutions, whether or not they're worth it, whether or not they actually work. And my sense is that maybe there's just a gap between, making that list of all the things that we want to accomplish in the new year and then actually having the processes in place to actually achieve those things. So my hope for the month of December in this process that I'm going to be taking you through is that there is a sort of blueprint for you to actually actualize what your intentions and resolutions are. So oftentimes we just make a list, like these are our New Year's resolutions, and if they don't magically fall in line by middle of February, we sort of just give up. And then we wait until the next year and kind of perpetuate that cycle. For me, with some of the amazing teachers that I've had, the holiday season has transformed into not only a time of diving deep into those heart qualities of love, compassion, gratitude, and connecting with others, but it's also a time of reflection and resolve. So we can think about our rhythms of nature and what's happening right now outside in the world. And we're moving into this transition between fall and winter. And this is a time of allowing the outdated, the old, to sort of be shed and to die away. And then we prepare for this process of hibernation, of going inward. And that allows us to kind of create this space for us to birth this new year. And in Ayurveda and in yoga, there's a very powerful magic that happens to us in this human experience when we are aligned with the rhythms of nature. So we can view this time of year as just being able to go inward and create something like a blank canvas for what's ready to rise, for that next trajectory of our own personal evolutions, because we are part of this cyclical planet and cycles have pulsation, and resolve is part of that pulsation. So if we don't take the time to reflect on what is working, what isn't working, what needs reforming, what's worthy of celebrating, if we don't take the time to do that, then we're really missing out on just being able to have a full experience in these human bodies. So let's take a moment to center. Take a moment to get your feet on the ground. If you're sitting in a chair, if you're sitting on the floor, take a moment to feel those sit bones and let yourself really ground through those lower chakras, through that root chakra of the sit bones, of the legs, of the feet. And feel yourself really anchored to this planet, this place, the home of our human experience. And then from there, begin to invite in that sense of rise. So feel that the rib cage is lifting off of the pelvis. Feel that you're getting longer through the spine, taller through the crown of the head. And feel that sense of just rising up towards something greater, towards source. And then feel your breath. Feel the space of hovering between these two connections, that connection as above to something greater, to source, and so below to this planet. Let yourself acknowledge this conduit that is your physical body between these two planes. And as you're breathing, feel how that prana, that life force, is moving through this channel that is you. Continue to let your awareness move more inward as you connect deeply to the breath moving the body. Feeling the belly, the rib cage, the chest expand as you breathe in. Feeling the letting go quality of the exhale as you breathe out. Again, we talked about humans being part of this cyclical planet and how all cycles have a pulsation. And the breath is a cycle. There's the inhale, the expansion, the awareness moving out. And then there's the exhale, the contraction, everything softening back to center, the awareness moving in. So let yourself align with the pulsation of your breath. And feel that with each exhalation, there is a release, there is a letting go, there is a shedding of another layer of that which is no longer serving you. And that as you breathe in, there is an expansion, there's a creation of space for that which is ready to rise, for that which is ready to be birthed in this next chapter. And then as you're breathing here, feeling that pulsation of the breath, feeling those qualities of letting go and expanding. Take a moment to just listen to that light deep inside of you that knows what's next. That light that knows what is the intention, what is the resolve for you in this new year. We can resolve to become more useful. We can resolve to live from a more cosmocentric or a more connected-centric perspective. Getting out of that day-to-day I, me, my thought form and recognizing that we are part of a bigger whole. We can resolve to live outside of the box if the box isn't working. We can resolve to eat the food that makes us feel good, to listen before speaking, to move, to stretch, to be more aligned in our self-care practices. Let yourself just listen to whatever's rising up around this next trajectory. And as we take this time to create intentions, to create resolve, it's also important for us to reflect on this past year. And we know that this past year has been a little different probably than what we might have planned for. And if we've learned anything, we've hopefully learned that we don't always have control of what's going on outside of ourselves. So as you look back and reflect on this past year, and as you start to create your resolve for moving forward, I want to encourage you to hold your focus to those things which are within your control, at least to some extent. So it's not about the virus, it's not about the election, it's not about all of these things that are happening externally. It's about what's happening within your own world that you're creating for yourself. It's about the habits that you actually have some control over. It's about how you're choosing to live your life day to day. So let that be your focus. Just working on yourself, not your husband, not the election, not the virus, not what's going on at the grocery store, whether anybody else is wearing a mask, just those things that are within you and your own control. So as you're breathing here, continuing to feel that sense of rootedness, that sense of rise, that connection, the expansion, the moving inward. As you reflect back, what is working? What are the things that you're doing, your habits, your day-to-day actions, the things in your life that are really working well? Let's take a moment to feel into that. And then just take a big inhale through the nose, a big exhale through the mouth. Let yourself really ground into, wow, these are the things that are working, and this is worth celebrating. What are the things in your life that are worth celebrating right now? So often when we're moving through this process of planning, we focus on what's not right. Doesn't it feel good just to take a moment to notice what is working and to celebrate what is worthy of celebration? And then, as an outside observer, without judgment, without beating yourself up, take a moment to consider what isn't working. And again, let it be about you, about your own personal day-to-day living, not about those things outside of yourself that are not really within your control. Keep coming back to yourself. Keep coming back to that inward place. What isn't working and what needs reformation? Take a big inhale. As you exhale here through the mouth, let yourself let go of judgment. Let go of whatever it is that makes you feel sad or disappointed about what's not working. Because right now, we have the opportunity to shift that. Let yourself take another big inhale. And as you exhale, let go of those outdated habit patterns, that self-talk, whatever it is in your life that isn't working, that needs reformation. See if you can start to use the breath to shed some of those layers. And then we have one more piece to this. And it's about the identity. So there is a thought leader on habit change science that I love. His name is James Clear. And he has a couple of really great books and an awesome blog if you're interested in learning about habit change. But he says that in order to change our habits, we have to decide and commit to the kind of person that we want to become. And this needs to be crystal clear in your mind's eye. So, as an example, if you're a smoker, you see yourself as a smoker, then you're likely to be a smoker. And it's going to be impossible to quit smoking. So what we want to do is begin to develop a new identity and begin to live from that new identity. So James Clear says your current behaviors are simply a reflection of your current identity. What you do now is a reflection of the type of person that you believe you are, either consciously or subconsciously. So to change your behavior for good, you need to start believing new things about yourself. Wow. So let's do that now in our meditation, keeping your eyes closed, keeping that breath moving, keeping that channel open, as above and so below. Finish this sentence. I want to be the kind of person who. I want to be the kind of person who also blank, fill in the blank. And I want to be the kind of person who fill in the blank. When we decide what kind of person we want to be, then we get to implement the kind of habits that that person has. We can't skip the identity piece. We can't skip the reflect piece. These are very important steps. So we begin this process of crafting a new year, of crafting a new you through reflection and through discovering what we want our new identity to be. Let yourself take another big full breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Take a moment to move the tongue over the teeth and wiggle the jaw. And whenever you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. I sent the worksheet for today's session out in the reminder email today, and I'll also include it in the YouTube link. But if you would like to take a moment to go through the first section, the first page of the worksheet under reflection. Those questions that we posed throughout that meditation are there for you. And then under identity, there's a section for that as well. You can take a moment to make some notes. And then the back side of this worksheet we'll get into in the next couple of weeks in our other two practices. So for now, let yourself focus on reflection and identity. And then the back side of the worksheet is basically, for those of you who are like me and you maybe want to jump ahead a little bit, it's really about imagining that you have become that future version of yourself, that new identity. And 1 year from now, it's the end of 2021, and you've been wildly successful in making those shifts, and you're interviewing yourself, okay? So if you are interested in starting to look at that, that's what it's all about. We're gonna dive deeper into it next week as we continue this process of cultivating and crafting a new year, a new you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.